All right, guys, Sean from SRKCYCLES, and I'm here with Ken. Ken, how's it going, man?
Good, how you doing, Sean? Great.
And you saw one of our videos. We were talking about one of these. Now, I've driven the Atom, I've driven the Goblin, I've driven the T-Rex. This is a completely different animal. So you saw a video and we were talking about one and you were like, I got one, I want to show it to these guys. Yep. I'm so excited that you came down. Explain what this is real quick.
This is a VANDERHALL. It's made in Proval, Utah. So it's been around since about 2016 is when they first started. The first model was the LAGUNA, and the LAGUNA actually had doors and it could get a roof and everything, but that was 50 grand or more, close to 60. So they finally came out with this, which is the entry-level model. This is called the VANDERHALL VENICE. Once again, made in Proval, Utah. About 35 guys in the shop put it together. What's very unique about this is where most three-wheelers are powered by the rear wheel, like a Slingshot, Can-Am, things like that. This is front-wheel drive. So it's able to put the power down a lot more efficiently in the front because it has a 70-30 weight distribution, so it's able to put that weight down to the ground and it pulls you out of corners instead of kind of pulling that back end out if you really get on it.
And honestly, that seems to make a whole lot more sense because it's all, you know, why move the drivetrain the whole way back there?
Right.
To change everything, and or if you have the Slingshot, why have the engine up here and then have
a long belt,
a long drive shaft or a belt or something like that going the whole way back, which would eliminate. I mean, you have so much room up in here.
Yeah.
You would have a huge hump, and it would take up 20% of the space up there.
Right. The question was, does this come in a manual? And no, it's automatic, because if it was in a manual, you'd have to have the hump and the transmission,
right,
and it would really throw the weight off and everything. Now, what you can do is, it has a manual mode option, and there's a cutout here where they have a bump shifter. Okay. And you can actually put it in manual mode and you can bump shift it and go up and down on your gear. So it gives you a little bit better feel. Right. And then there's another company that just came out with paddle shifters.
Okay, cool.
So you can actually put paddle shifters on it and everything.
So I'm incredibly impressed with the fit and finish of this car. How much did this car cost?
It was just under 30.
Wow, that's the same thing you're going to pay for a Slingshot.
Yeah.
And that's got to be like a third of what you'd pay for an Atom.
Right.
And this has way more body than an Atom. You know what I mean? This looks like this is some type of like resto mod where it looks like it's something that came out of like the 50s or something like that.
And that's what I look at it. If you look at it, it kind of looks like a Lotus 8 in the front. It has that old Lotus look to it. And with the toggle switches and everything being retro, it's really neat. Matter of fact, the gauges, even though they're analog, they have it hooked up to the CAN bus system, the GM CAN bus system, so it'll actually sweep, and they're actually digital, but it shows in an analog.
That's so cool. Let's pop the hood.
Unfortunately, with the hood, we have to remove the screws. So if we want to do that, we can.
We have to remove all the screws.
Yeah, which it doesn't take long if you have a 5/30 seconds Allen.
Yeah, but let's go grab the tool.
Okay, let's do that.
I'll grab it right now and I'll get a little drill.
Cool.
Oh, you're doing one guy?
It's nothing.
Wow.
It's like 10 pounds. So this engine here, it's the 1.4 liter LUV code engine, and it's basically out of your Chevy Sonic.
Okay.
But it's turbocharged.
The Sonic and also the Cruze.
Yep. And it's turbocharged, so the turbocharger, you'll see it down in here.
And this is a stock turbo that comes with the Cruze. And the turbo's like...
It's tiny.
Tiny.
It's tiny.
Let's see if you can see it.
You can actually see it from the fender gap on this side over here. You can look down in there and you can see it. It says Garrett right on it.
It's this big. It's the tiniest little turbo. I remember my buddy had a Chevy Cruze, and they're great little cars. Very reliable motors. And you almost don't even know they're turbocharged, but the smallest little turbo.
Yeah, there's no turbo lag. It does kick in a little bit, and you'll feel it. He did some massaging with the exhaust. Of course, it's a free-flowing exhaust. You just have a cat, and that's it. There's no mufflers or anything like that.
Now, where does the exhaust come out?
It actually comes straight down, and it goes...
Side pipes.
Yep, it goes about halfway down to here, and then it splits off either side. So it's dual exhaust.
That's so cool looking.
Now, one of the things that I did right away was I reached out to a company, B&R, Bad News Racing Tuning, and they've been tuning Chevy Cruzes and Sonics for probably a decade now. And I reached out to a gentleman named Jerry, and he started doing tunes for this particular engine, and I went ahead and did the tune with it and everything.
So stock horsepower.
Stock horsepower, it's 180 horsepower, 185 foot-pounds of torque, and this weighs about 1,400 pounds. So you can kind of do the math and figure out. With the tune, it's adding about another 60 to 80 horsepower and over 100 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow.
So it will get up and go now. And
that's impressive.
The in stock, the shift points, it liked to be in a higher gear, even at lower speeds, so it would kind of feel like it was bogging down, but he addressed the shift points, so he keeps them and holds them a little longer. And then he also, if you're full steam and you're giving it the beans, as they say, it shifts earlier. It shifts around 5,900 RPMs, so there's really no jerking. It's super smooth. You have no idea how fast you're going until you look down at the speedometer.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. I love how the lights are kind of hidden back in there.
Now, one of the unique things about the lights is they're LED lights, and the way he designed them, he put them behind the grill, but when the lights come on, they actually shine between the grill slots, so you don't get any grid pattern or anything like that on the ground. So he positioned them perfectly.
Oh, that's awesome.
And of course, he has the turn signals in here. And one of the other unique things that he did was he went to the push rod system suspension, the cantilever system, and that was so that he was able to get the hood line a lot lower. Because if he went with a traditional strut setup, he would have to be much higher and wider in order to do that.
Right.
And these are Fox shocks. They're completely adjustable. Very supple ride. I actually have had Can-Ams and so forth, and a Can-Am tends to drift and it's real choppy and everything. This on the highway doing 80 miles an hour, it's so smooth. It's unbelievable.
I love how the fit and finish. This looks like it's a production, like Vanderhall's a huge company making really clean. I mean, look, you got the sticker on here, and this thing covering the coil packs and everything. It's so well done. It's so well put together.
Well, one of the interesting things is he did a what they call a tab and slot construction. It's a patented construction. Nobody else can do it. So this entire thing, even the sides where it says Vanderhall all the way back to the back, is one solid aluminum tub. Oh, really? And he uses what's called a tab and slot. So you can see where the tabs come together, and you can really see it here. So it goes together almost like a jigsaw puzzle, and then it's like welded. So like dovetailing in carpentry. Right. So it makes a super strong structure. And this thing has no flex or anything in it whatsoever. And
it's all aluminum, so you don't have to worry about rust. And the body's all plastic or fiberglass.
It's like a carbon. It's like a plastic composite.
Right.
The Laguna that came out, and the reason it was so expensive was it was a carbon fiber body.
Okay.
But with this, this hood probably weighs not even 10 pounds.
And this is cheaper to make.
It is, absolutely.
Cheaper and easier to make if you have the equipment.
Absolutely.
And it's also going to be cheaper to replace. If you had to replace that hood or bonnet, how much would that be?
Yeah, I don't know, but if I had to guess, it would probably be less than $800.
Wow.
And then I went and talked to a company about doing a wrap on this, and it would be super easy because you can take every single body panel off of this thing and just hand it to them.
That's so
and
cool.
Say wrap the body panels and give them back to me, and it's done.
It's crazy how technology has changed so much in the past 2 decades, because that makes a whole lot more sense than the fiberglass hood of the Viper, which if you have to replace from brand new, it's going to be like $12,000.
Yeah.
Because it was at that point, it was the biggest fiberglass piece you can get. These fenders, normally a fender would be on top.
Yeah.
How do they get away with the fender being on the side?
Well, at low speeds, it does, because these tires are like ultra sticky. It does tend to throw rocks up in water. But at highway speeds or anything above 35, 40 miles an hour, it's kicking anything into the actual fender. Now, Vanderhall makes a long fender option where the fender will come up to like right about here.
Okay.
And it will keep a lot less road debris and rocks and stuff out of the cab.
Honestly, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, the Adams fender is just the top piece.
Right.
And I'm getting stuff, I got tons of rocks in my seats and in my floorboards and stuff. Let's look at the backs. We got your basic single-sided swing arm action going on here. It's pretty simple. You got you know, a mono shock. It's got nice. That's a big back tire.
It's a 285 35 19 or 18, excuse me.
Wow.
And they do have an option to go with a 12-inch wide rim, a 20 by 12, which you can fit like a 325 on it or something like that.
Yeah, wow.
It's really, but really the back tire with this particular one, since it's front wheel drive, it's just there to hold up the back end basically.
Yeah.
But that tire is bigger than most traditional slingshots unless you go with a big tire package on a slingshot.
I think the slingshot has like a 275
yeah.
or 265.
Yeah.
You bought this from White's, Lebanon, Vanderhall?
Yeah, it's
White's as in like White's Harley Davidson?
Harley Davidson, yeah.
They've got their own they sell Vanderhalls?
They do.
In the same location?
Absolutely. They keep like 2 or 3 of them in the showroom. So when I went to Vanderhall's website, they ask you, okay, your location, and that's where White's came up in Lebanon.
How big is the
It's 9 gallons.
9 gallons?
And it's all the way down at the bottom, so you see it. It's down low. Everything center of gravity. It's all down low.
9 gallons.
9 gallons.
That's crazy.
And I came up here. I filled up. I live in Delaware. I filled up, and I've only used about 1/8 of a tank, not even a quarter yet.
Wow.
So it gets pretty good gas. But if I had to guess, as long as you're not really getting on it all the time, it'll probably give you 35, 40 miles to the gallon.
And I bet. I mean, even like you can get that. Like the CRUZE got that much.
Right. Right.
And this weighs probably almost 1/3 of it.
Right. So there is a little cubby hole behind, so it goes to right about here. So I'll keep wet weather gear in there, maybe some rags, some towels, just little things here and there. An extra helmet if I wanted to keep an extra helmet in there. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. They also make a luggage rack you can get, but I'm not a big fan of it because you have to drill into the body and it goes right here. But I saw where somebody did something where it clamped onto here and they made like a circular tubing to match this and it clamped onto here. Now that I could see happening.
Yeah, you can clamp onto here, or
Yep.
I could see it like maybe getting bolted from here and coming up around, you know what I mean?
Yep.
To stabilize it. Or you break here.
Well, the other one, it bolts like here, 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 and here, and it's just far enough above the cap where you can pull a cap and gas it and everything and stuff. But I cringe at the thought of drilling holes in the body.
Right, right. No, I feel the same way.
I really do.
So when it comes to the inside and like creature comforts, what do you really have?
It has heated seats on both sides, so
Whoa.
you have driver and passenger heated seat, and they will get super hot on 3. So normally in the wintertime I'll put them on 1, and that's more than enough.
You drive this in the wintertime?
Oh yeah. Well, I ride motorcycles and stuff when it's 20 degrees, so it doesn't bother me. But you can ride this pretty much year round. I don't really try to ride it in the rain, but you could. Everything's waterproof. It has speakers, but what's interesting is it doesn't have a head unit. It just has a Bluetooth module. So you connect that to your phone. That way it's, once again, weight savings.
That's perfect. That's all you need. I think cars should be like that.
Yep, absolutely.
People stop stealing your head units out of your car. And then you have
it's got a heater.
It's got a heater.
Yep, so no AC, of course, because you're open, but it does have a heater that you can, I actually have my RAM mount connected to the dial here where you can turn it up and everything, but it's got a heater. You can definitely, if it's below 40 or 50 degrees and you turn it on, you can feel it, because if you turn it off, you definitely know that there's a difference there and everything. Right. But the only thing that I did was I just fabbed this up, which, because of the rake of the windshield, at night you get glare from the instruments and it's right there in your face. So I said, you know what, let me just make a little hood. It's not the greatest, but it serves its purpose, and I don't get, because I ride at nighttime and everything. I take this to work pretty much on a daily basis and everything.
I love how everything that says Vanderhall on it, but it's very nice and clean and it's, works.
Real wood.
I love this. I love wooden steering wheels. That feels awesome. Is that the horn?
Yep. A little louder than a motorcycle.
Yeah. Wow, this is cool. Now, have you actually had it on the dyno?
No, I have not. I have not had it on the dyno. I would be interested to find out. I think there might be a place down in where I live and everything that has something, so I'm gonna look into it. But if I had to guesstimate, it would probably be maybe about 175, 180 to the wheels.
Yeah.
Because it loses a good 70 horsepower in the powertrain and stuff, which to me is a bit weird, but that's what it does. But
right.
foot-pounds of torque, it's probably putting 240, 250 to the ground. So it'll move out. It's very, very quick.
Well, let's put the hood back on and let's take it for a spin.
Absolutely. I actually put that little clock right there. That's not factory. It's
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Little 10, and it matches.
Yeah, it does.
It matches. I was like, I gotta find something. It's driving me crazy. I like to have a little clock and stuff inside.
Right. And like a normal car, the traction control resets after every time you turn it on.
Yep.
It's trying to keep you alive.
Yep. And this does have ABS, of course, and everything. It's got your traction control.
There you go. You hear that turbo?
Yeah.
They must have put a bigger blow-off valve on that.
No, it's an open element filter, so you're just hearing it back through the filter, because the filter's literally like right there.
Yeah. Just cruising right now, this seems very streetable.
Yep.
Very tame, and like anyone could drive it. Like you could throw the keys to your wife and be like, "Hey, take it for a spin."
Yeah, what's one of the things that Jerry did from B&R Racing, he really tuned the shift points on this, because right now it would actually want to be in a higher gear and it would feel like it was lugging down.
Okay.
So he really addressed, and he kept the RPMs up a little bit more before it shifted. So it's a lot more streetable, because especially if I was going up a hill and I really wasn't getting on it, it would really lug down. You'd almost have to stab the throttle a little bit to get it to shift down. But now it's just and when it shifts, you don't even feel it.
Right. This is an awesome car. My wife would love taking a spin in something like this.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't, the Atom's so uncomfortable. You know what I mean? The Atom's made for one thing, and that's just killing you. And this is comfortable.
Like I said, the ride is pretty compliant. I know
it's great.
Pennsylvania roads are horrible.
Yeah.
And coming up 896 from Delaware, it wasn't bad at all.
Now, is this the actual wheelbase of a regular Cobalt or Sonic?
No, I think it's a little smaller. It's got a 69-inch wheelbase, and just for comparison, I think a Slingshot's almost 80. So this is about 10 to 11
The
inches.
Slingshot is very wide. The Slingshot's actually 4 inches wider than the Z06 Corvette.
Yeah.
Now, when you really start taking this thing in the corners and really pushing it, will it understeer or oversteer?
It'll understeer slightly, just because of that front weight bias.
Okay. So how many of these are they manufacturing?
I think since 2016, he's made about 1,000 Venices.
Wow.
And that's not just in the U.S. I believe he exports them, because I believe he sends them to Dubai and all over the world. So you're not going to see very many of these for now.
I mean, 1,000's a lot.
Yeah.
There's only 150 Atom 2s out there.
Right. Yeah, that's like a unicorn as well.
Right. But this is so much more, so many more people would want to ride this.
Right. A little more civil.
Right, exactly. It's much more refined.
I was telling him that when you're on the highway cruising about 60, 65 miles an hour, it sounds almost like a P-51 Spitfire.
Oh, right.
It sounds like an old plane. It's really cool. It's hard to believe that that's a 1.4 liter out of a Chevy Sonic underneath it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
But I mean, you could literally just drive it with a finger, and it tracks so straight. It's unbelievable how well this thing tracks.
Now, was this made as more of a, with performance more in mind, or is it just more like a, just an awesome, cool car for people? Like do they have racing circuits for these things? Well, or is it more, just this is a cool car that people they're gonna love driving
I think this would almost equate to a sports tour in the motorcycle world.
Okay.
So it's the best of both worlds. It's quick, like a sports bike, but it also has some of the creature comforts and things like that you would want in a tour. I wouldn't be afraid to jump in this thing and go a couple hundred miles.
Taking the left, right. No, this is extremely comfortable.
And they have these are the 2.5-inch pipes. They make 3-inch pipes that, of course, make it a little louder if you really wanted to go crazy.
Oh, cool.
And I think the more exposure to these, the more aftermarkets are going to be. I've been in talks with Don, from F4 Customs, and they do polycarbonate scratch-resistant windshields for motorcycles. This is automotive glass.
Oh, is it?
But the line, the vision line, is kind of like right in my line of sight, so you get a little bit of distortion. So
yeah, it is.
Normally, if I'm driving long distance or doing whatever, I'll just kind of crouch down in the seat.
Yeah, it's much better, like 2 inches down. I feel
or
it.
sit up like really, really tall to see over it and everything.
Right, so you'd rather have either a shorter windshield or a bigger windshield.
Yeah, there's a couple people that make like a half windshield.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Which in the summertime is great. To where you can switch off and do like a half windshield in the summer and then do a full windshield in the winter for some wind protection.
Right. And so you say that's a lot faster than what it was before.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's quick. That gets up and goes. What's amazing is that you can actually hold a conversation in this thing.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But you feel how smooth the shifts are?
Very smooth, yeah, very smooth.
It doesn't jar you.
Right.
When it shifts.
I mean, nothing's like popping or cracking. There's no like body rub from anything.
It's very tight.
It's very, very tight. Honestly, I feel like at 30 grand, that's a bargain. Like, this is a significantly more refined vehicle than the Slingshot is.
Yeah, I looked into the Slingshots. They're nice for what they are, but if you're really looking for something that's, like you said, just at a different level, I used to ride Triumph bikes, and if you think about the refinement in a lot of the Triumph bikes over, say, a Yamaha or whatever, it's kind of almost along those same lines.
Now, they couldn't have made this a manual with a cable shifter?
Probably not. It would have just taken up too much room inside for the hump. If you look, there's tons of room in here, like leg room and everything.
Like, just hitting that little bump, it felt like a normal car.
Yep.
You hit that bump with the Atom, C4 vertebrae just kind of pops loose a little bit.
I actually have a bad L4, L5. Of course, I go to a chiropractor now, but this thing doesn't
park right there. That's fine.
It doesn't beat you up at all.
No, it doesn't. And these seats are super comfortable. Yeah, if you had two guys with like
a
big,
couple 100
wide
pounders
shoulders,
in here, it'd be.
You really start like fighting each other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Hey, you better be pretty close. You better like the person you're riding with.
Right.
That's for sure.
That's why
it's either going to cure a marriage or make it.
Right. That's why you put a girl in there with the real, narrow shoulders. Oh, they got a car show.
Yeah. I saw a lot of the cars coming in. A lot of old 50s and things that were riding in this morning when I was coming off of 283.
This thing fits anywhere though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The brakes are really touchy.
Yeah, they feel great.
Because they're power assisted plus 1,400 pounds you're hauling down.
Now, other companies have tried to make things like this, but they've never been successful.
Right.
I'll show some pictures of some stuff on the video, but I can't think of the names because they didn't work out. And they were ugly and goofy, but they did like the three-wheel thing. And what a lot of people don't know is this is actually the way they got around a lot of the regulations, just like the Slingshot. This is actually a motorcycle.
Yeah, in some states it's actually considered an autocycle.
So in Pennsylvania, do you need a motorcycle license to drive it?
I don't believe so. If it's classified as an autocycle, you don't have to.
Really?
Yeah, see those brakes?
Yeah, they're touchy.
You gotta learn them.
That does move. That moves pretty good.
What's that?
That moves pretty good.
Yeah. Just a slight bit of torque steer.
Yep, yeah, because the front wheel drive.
Yep.
I've had some powerful front wheel drive cars, and it's like throwing you all over the place.
Yeah, it almost like it self-corrects itself.
Right.
And I think that has to do with the unequal length A-arms. It really helps keep things square.
Interesting. Let's do a 0 to 60.
Give it a shot.
Go. All right, we'll get that on the timer when we get to editing.
She's got a little meat on her.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel spin. And it does. There is a you know, you get a little bit of turbo lag, which I'm surprised because it's a very small turbo, which, you know, normally they eliminate, but it's very smooth. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's a turbo. You only know it's because you hear it. Yep. It's not like nothing. You know, it's just like it looks like it just has a more power at the higher. But a lot of it's mid-range too. It feels great, and it makes it an extremely drivable car that anyone could drive, and you could drive in very tons of situations. You know, it'd be fun just driving it around town, give the keys to your grandma, or take it to get some groceries, or take it to you know, the Dragon Tail or something. Yeah,
I've really been thinking about doing that. That would be fantastic, because I think this thing would handle. They would handle really well through there.
I love these wooden steering wheels. I mean, they knocked it out of the park with this awesome wooden steering wheel.
They also make a more traditional foam, like GT steering wheel. Yeah. I think that kind of takes.
It's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, well, it's almost the same size.
Oh, is it? Yeah, this is just perfect, and it really kind of runs and flows with the styling of the car.
Yep. The toggle switches.
Yeah. What's the most expensive one of these that you can get?
Right now, well, the very first production model was the Laguna, and that was one that had doors. You could get a top to it. And I think that was like 50, 60 grand, like 60 grand. The new, that's gone away. Now this is the entry-level model. They have another model called the Speedster, which is a single-seater, and they put a cow that covers the passenger side because there's no passenger seat. It's a single-seater. And then they got two electric ones coming out, the Edison 2 and the Edison 4.
That makes a lot of sense. Yep. You have a vehicle so light. Yeah. And you have plenty of space for batteries.
Yeah, it's all like a skateboard design, so the batteries are low. Yeah. I was telling him, if you look at the floor pan of this underneath the vehicle, it's completely flat.
Yeah, right.
The only openings is up towards the front for like the oil filter and things like that. Or no, the oil filter's on top, sorry. The oil drain. And I actually added these mirrors because the stock mirrors are a little small and they're flat. With these being convex, you can see everything.
They look perfect.
Yeah. And most people wouldn't know that they're not part of the car unless I point it out.
Right. You're right, it's very smooth.
It is smooth, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a blast to drive. But it's a blast in like not a high performance way. It's a blast, it's just so much fun. It's very relaxing.
Yeah. And it'll keep pulling. It's got a very linear power to it. It just keeps pulling. It doesn't feel like it's falling on its face.
It's got speakers in this thing?
Yeah, it's got a Bluetooth module, so if you hook up your phone to it.
Where are the speakers hidden?
You got speaker here and speaker by your leg over there.
There we go. Yep. So you can hear the music while you're driving down the road?
Yeah, because the cockpit's fairly quiet. Even at 70, 80 miles an hour.
It really is.
It's fairly pretty quiet. You can hold a conversation. Before I had a Can-Am, I had to have the helmets with the Bluetooth so I could talk to the wife and everything. Right. And now I can carry on a conversation with her even at highway speeds, so it's not bad at all. Yeah,
this is killer. I mean, I've got enclosed vehicles I cannot hold a conversation in. Yeah. During highway speeds, you know what I mean? Yeah. My Power Stroke van, the Dodge Viper.
Yeah. Well, and I think the fact that we're pretty close to each other too helps a little bit.
Right. Right. Well, hey, I appreciate you letting me.
Yeah, man.
Let me drive
I've been looking forward to this. Awesome. I've been watching your channel for quite some time. You do some good things out there, and I saw you, like I said, at the auto show. You saw one of these, and you were interested in it, and I say, well, I got one of those. Let me call this guy.
That's cool.
And I got in contact with one of your guys, and he said, yeah, let me get Sean to give you a call, and we contacted each other, and a couple Saturdays later, perfect weather, perfect day out.
Couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, this is great.
Well, all right, guys, that wraps up the video. We'll see you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm really enjoying this thing.